And welcome back to Uncharted 4, everyone.
Remember the advice. Go to the spotlights.
Yes.
That's what Sully told you when
Not those spotlights, but the other ones. You'll know the ones when you see them. Yep. Ow. All right. This looks like an opening. Go for it.
Flop.
Not too far a fall, but I guess the punch did it. I have lost track of where... I think that's my destination, right? I assume the big spotlights up in the sky have to be.
X marks the spot in the sky.
This probably won't work. Oh, it will. Well, cool.
Next.
Hello. Welcome to the tall grass. Population, you and all your friends. All right, let's see here. That's probably the safe way to go.
It's like lots of handy holds.
Yep. Uh-oh. They're doing a pretty good job of making all of these handy hold areas visible in a dark scene.
Yeah.
I guess all the spotlights help to really cast sharp light and shadows in places.
You don't have like a thief shadow consideration, do you? I didn't see them mention staying in shadow helps you be unseen.
And I'm forgetting which button does the mark a person thing. Not that one. Not that one. Oh, well, I guess I did it.
Oh, okay. He's a marker.
But I didn't notice which button it was. So, yeah.
Can you drag a body?
That's a good question. No.
See.
It should be fine.
See if the body's noticed.
Probably. Will they notice?
I wonder if they purposely put them on patrol tracks that keep them from running into that, because there's a whole can of worms that comes into a development once you decide to have stealth in your game.
Yeah.
And suddenly you're competing with a game that has the best stealth, and everything that falls short of being the best stealth is going to make your game seem wonky and weird and bad during those sections.
Stealth games either work or are incredibly frustrating.
Yeah.
With very little in between.
Well, because they operate in that design uncanny valley where you've got often like highly realistic environments and characters and stuff, but then the AI has, by necessity, has to act in inhuman ways.
Yeah.
Or else it just becomes impossible. Well, or you do stealth like Rainbow Six, where you get caught and the mission's just over. You got to try again.
I get the feeling I'm supposed to zip line down that.
That feels pretty zip-liney.
It does.
There's a nice cart to push and pull.
Oh, good.
Let's see. Oh, I guess I'm supposed to push it.
Don't mind me.
Okay. Yoink.
That'll need stitches.
I'm grateful that their guard AI is very, very lenient and hard of hearing.
I wonder how much of that is dependent on the difficulty setting that you...
Ooh, actually, yeah, I bet. I bet it is being incredibly lenient because I put it on easy.
I'd like to think so. I mean, a lot of times games only, like, do some brute force thing like, oh, all enemies have, 30% less health or whatever.
Yeah.
But Like, that always bothered me in the God of War games, where you can set the difficulty down to easy, but the quick time events are still exactly as brutal.
Right, yeah. It only simplifies like one single aspect of the difficulty of the game's experience. Where was that zip line? This looks promising. Yes, here we go.
Again with the voice activated.
Yeah.
Oh, Die Hard in there, yeah. Oh, the lighting in here for being so dark is so good.
Yeah.
Shoot that ice statue. You gotta shoot the ice statue.
I'm gonna. Here, game, let me. Game, this is important.
Don't care about these dudes. I'm gonna shoot the ice.
There's that fountain just outside the ballroom.
Oh dear.
No.
There's someone else shoot the ice
Shoot it
statue.
for you. Yeah.
Somebody. Yay! Oh, the whole table went with it.
Oh.
We need to get the hell out of here.
Yeah, making lighting work and look good in a what is supposed to be a dark room seems like a major challenge.
Oh, it is. It helps that their shaders are just incredible, like the material reflections and specularity and all that stuff.
Sure.
It's really easy to do those poorly. You end up with like bright white spots on black surfaces.
Is it all clear? I think it's all clear. Oh, it's not clear. It's not clear. Still not clear. Someone is still shooting at me. This is good thing I set this on easy, huh?
You could handle a couple dozen bullets.
Oh, geez. I love those.
Nice tag team.
Yeah. Teamwork combos.
In general, just the amount of contextual complexity that's in this game is pretty staggering.
It really is.
Hold on, kid. Nearly there.
And again, that's something that comes from a studio that can devote all of its resources to those kind of little polishy things that set it above and beyond.
Yeah, they're making a very focused experience so they can... I wonder, like, what all is involved and required in making an environment that you can do this to. That seems really complicated.
So, any model that you can damage specifically like that, that's got to be a separate prop, and it's got to have... well, okay, so there's a couple different approaches. There's some props like that ice statue, I assume, just has a smash into physics bits state to it, and probably those physics bits are always the same.
Okay.
It might randomly generate from a pool, but like these columns that break, seems like per bullet hit. I have yet to be exposed to such technology, so I'm not sure exactly how they work.
Stop shooting me. Okay. Oh, geez.
It must be fun to design a super linear experience like this, just pulling all the Hollywood tropes you could think of and throwing them in.
Yeah.
And having the systems to back it up is neat too.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, geez. I'll be able to talk better when I'm not getting destroyed.
When I was working on Descent 3, I built a level where I wanted a Death Star escape while it explodes experience, right? Where you're going through a convoluted tunnel with, things you can accidentally bash into it with an explosion falling behind you.
Yeah.
And the amount of resources required, the special code and script that were just mind-numbing. So it's one of those things where this is like an embarrassment of riches when you have an engine and a team behind you where you can say, I want a car to bash through a wall and dudes to spill out of it. And you have a system for that. It'll just work because they have all that groundwork already laid. That's incredible.
Such an asshole.
He's your brother. All right.
And again, it's the beauty of iterating on the same game, the same basic engine and mechanics 4 times in a row, 5 times in a row.
Yeah.
You get that backlog of stuff that allows you to do all that kind of cool nuance that other game engines and other game studios trying to do the same thing would have to work a lot harder at.
Or a phone number.
Come on. The dates. Huh? Look. 1659.
It's the year Avery was born.
1699.
Let me guess. The year he died.
Well, by most accounts, yeah, but that means we have date of birth, date of death, and paradise. Which means we're looking for Avery's grave.
St. Dismas's Cathedral.
Do you happen to know off the top of your head when actors being mocap, when they're having their face captured, does the eye movement come with that data? Because obviously they can't put the same little green dots on a person's eyeball, but can you track their pupils or whatever?
I believe, I don't know for certain, but I would expect so. Because they've got at the very least, they've got an active camera that is recording the face to capture the data from those little sensory painted on bits.
They have the reference.
So they've got the reference that they can that the animators can then work from. But I would not, given that they have that footage, it seems like it would not be too terribly impossible to get some really basic information about eye movement from that footage automatically.
Yeah.
Come on, it's both, right?
Probably requires a lot of cleanup.
Yeah, I'm curious because I'm seeing some shots where the eye movement seems like dead on, and then others where when they look from one direction to another, it's just like a little too slow
right.
to be natural.
Yeah,
but
eyes do not move slow. Ever. Actually, it's always darts. It may just be a lot of darts close together, but
things have changed. Rafe's involved now, and
eyes are fun because if they're focused on something
thank you.
and you move your head around, in that way they're moving slow because your eyes are good at staying on a thing. But if you try to just like pan your eyes across a room, looking from the left side of the room to the right side of the room, you can't smoothly do it. It's nothing but a series of darts as you focus on pinpoint after pinpoint on the room.
Yep.
Look, I realize it couldn't have been easy.
Back in the day, that was one of the biggest kind of giveaways of
And I'm sorry for what happened to you.
poorly done CG, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, you still see it in Students, right?
Oh, sure.
And that and over gesticulation, where they've got to flap their hands around with every syllable or whatever.
Yep. Just not getting the eyes right or just straight up bad acting.
Yeah. And I guess that's where motion capture with good actors like this just gets you all of that.
It really does.
For much cheaper.
Yeah, I will. Okay, I love you too. Bye. Just told her that the job was going to take a little longer than expected, which is the truth, right? So come on, what do you say? Sam could still use our help.
Well,
does the specularity on the eyes feel like more or less correct to you, or?
Well, it feels stylized.
Yeah.
They definitely they've got that almost Disney round specular, like one big main dot.
Yeah.
Right. And that will happen in some lighting scenarios, but the vast majority of lighting, that's not realistically the reflection that's going to be in the eye.
We are going to have that graveyard all to ourselves.
We're going through a lot of costume changes. It's a lot of It's a lot of clothing models.
Hey, listen, we're good to go here.
okay, kid. Happy hunting.
Last chance to come with.
Yeah, well, unless you can find me an escalator, I think
What is
I'll
that
pass.
tire doing on the side of that
I don't know.
boat plane?
Hey, Nate.
Is it also... Oh, maybe it folds down and out?
Or maybe it's...
Just bring me back something shiny, will you?
No, it wouldn't be. There's like boats sometimes kind of have some like rubber bumper stuff for like
Respects the captain name.
Oh,
for
right.
docking and such, so it doesn't damage the side. Like, do seaplanes have to worry about that? That's one of those like details that I suspect is 100% accurate, and I just have no idea.
Not really.
This looks really cool. I love this
Avery would have sailed here.
little landscape here.
Yeah, that's nice.
I guess that's true.
It's,
Nice change of color.
Bounty on his head. And
the palette is very Skyrim.
Yeah.
so, what happened between you and Rafe?
I couldn't deal with him. I'm pretty sure he'd had enough of me. I was still coming to grips with your death and with his frustration from not finding the treasure. I'm pretty sure he was ready to kill me by the time I bailed.
Imagine what he want to do to you now.
Yeah, trying not to. Sam, listen.
So
Ruthless.
that whole swath of environment that you walked over, which was
I've heard stories.
fairly feature. I mean, it's all one slope with a few little ripples in it. Like, I'm curious, in their production, was the level designer told there's going to be 30 seconds of dialogue as they travel to the next vista or the next place where the player has to really engage in traversal skills as opposed to just pushing forward on the stick, right? Or if that gets added after that, like they're playing the level and it's decided, you know, it'd be really great to stick this conversation here, or this needs to be communicated better. You know, do they spread that stuff out? I've never worked on a like truly linear game like this, so
That'd be interesting, yeah. Like, because it functions in a way like a establishing shot, even though they already had some of those in the actual cutscene. But for like gameplay navigation, it's a nice like, here is your environment and this is the direction to head.
yeah.
It's a long drop.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't know how they plan for these things, or if that sort of thing is all planned out in advance, or if it can I walk through here? Seems like I'm gonna fall.
It's all full of scree.
Come on, there you
nice.
go.
And just a wall there. Hanging out.
What's this blue thing? Oh,
Hey, this should hold.
Good call.
come on. That's what I'm trying to do. Oh, had to let go of L1 and then hold it again.
So we were talking about editing and pacing before, and that to me was just a little reminder. Like, you see the blue boxes, you know you want to go there. You see it's too far down, and that little branch to hook onto was like 10 feet to your right or whatever. Very easy and obvious to find. So that was a decision that the level designer made. Was like, should this be a puzzle? Like, should the player have to spend 30 seconds or a minute and a half trying to figure out how to get down there? And those are the kinds of things that I mean when I'm talking about editing in general, where you're trying to pace the player's experience. And if you feel like they've done enough traversing, they need to do some shooting now, then you pull back on those kinds of puzzles and you put the tree to go down like right in the path, like it was in that case.
That makes sense.
Exactly.
And a deer.
Hello. If this was Tomb Raider, I would be shooting the heck out of that
I
deer.
was just thinking.
This place is so big, without knowing where to look. It's like shooting in the dark.
It's interesting where they have the snow and where they don't. By interesting, I mean looks wrong. So sometimes in nature, you'll see weird things like that because the sun is hitting a rock just right, that it's just, you know, it's 1 degree warmer than the rock next to it or around it, so it doesn't have snow on it. So it's one of those things where I can't point and say, that's wrong. But there are things that just strike you as like, that's weird. It's kind of like, you know, the bugs I get with trees growing out of rocks.
Sure.
It's like, it just feels wrong to a lot of people.
Does that happen? Often will you like give a note to even another environment artist saying like this doesn't feel right, and then they will give like their explanation and kind of pitch it at you, and it makes sense?
Yeah, I mean that's something we do to each other, where we're when we look at each other's work, because obviously we're coming from a point of understanding. We almost always understand why they did it that way, whether it's a schedule thing or the limitation of the prop set that we're working with or that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's definitely a common kind of feedback. It's just like I know this could work, but it doesn't feel like it should work.
Yeah.
Hey, got the door open.
That was very loud.
Hear us. Yeah, hopefully we just blend in with the other explosions. Look, there's a way up through the roof. It's too high for a boost, though.
Oh, let's find something to climb on.
Yeah.
Huh? They're not right behind you like you would expect. I wonder if the AI is having a problem right now, or if you're actually supposed to go somewhere else.
It said something about getting me to climb on something, but nothing in this room. I'm assuming that's what I'm supposed to be finding right now.
No matter how hard you try,
Nope.
you cannot get up that screen.
Never. Maybe there's a ladder or something up here. Or this. This looks like it rolls.
Hey, we can use this to climb out of that building.
Assuming I
You
can...
gotta blow through that hole.
Yep.
Door.
Gonna cause a little bit more wreckage.
Oh, that was a really nice little jiggle that box did. I don't know if that was a physics hiccup or if that was because you rolled over that rock, but that was nice.
Not the right tool. I'm out of dynamite. Hang on.
Hey, kitty.
Gwenny, go away.
She has beautiful green eyes.
She's very lovely and... Sorry, I just had to kind of toss my cat down back on the floor. My cats do not know personal boundaries. And they can sense people who have allergies also. And I keep bringing people here who have allergies.
Well, you did just stand there.
That does happen to him every time, whether I'm playing him or not. I like to think that that's a running gag.
That's a personality quirk he has. It's just always standing close to explosives.
Here we go. And thunk. All right. Come on, Sam.
Yeah, you just probably do this a lot faster with two people.
That's fine. You supervise.
Shoreline, hide!
Oh,
Maybe he's holding the lighter for you.
sorry. Were we supposed to be stealthing?
I may have heard that time.
Eh. All right, a lot of them. Good. Oh, jeez. Stop it.
Oh, you were getting a little extreme on stop and pop there. Like, there was a lot
That's
of stop.
true. And they do not really want that for this experience, so... Cool of them to find actual... Oh, jeez. Actual mechanical ways to discourage that.
To address a problem that has been a problem for the past 10 years that this game type has been around.
You guys leave me alone, I'm trying to push a box. Alright. Here we go.
All right, nicely done. That could have been bad.
Yeah.
Also, that would be way easier to pull on terrain like that than it would be to push.
That's true. In terms of steering.
Oh, especially upstairs. Oh, those weren't stairs.
Okay. There we go.
There.
Yep.
Come on,
And yeah.
So the talus rocks that are at the bottom of those cliffs, they don't match the shape of the rocks as that shear off. They're all rounded, which is something you would see around rivers and lakes where water has had a lot of time to run over them. They should be more like slate slabby bits.
Interesting. Oh, that's bright. Neat though. Okay, here's our direction. Yep.
Got it.
And what am I swinging at?
Careful.
Probably that wall. Okay. The way the sun bounces off the rock really is nice.
I can hold that. There.
Oh. Dead end. There we go.
Whew. All right, you think you can do that?
What are you talking about? I taught you that move.
All right, let's see it then.
Let's see.
You see?
I feel like I can't just make that jump.
That's clumsy.
Oh, with a big wind-up you can.
That's true. Let's attempt it. Yep. Okay, and yeah.
Oh god, those rock outcroppings are so bad. I have a feeling this may have been one of the first rock traversal levels that they made with the new climbing system. Just feels not as refined and sophisticated.
Just in that the look of it doesn't feel quite as organic and natural.
Yeah. There was a spot early on when you started climbing this face where there's a rock texture right in that completely contradicted the way the handholds were laid out.
I see.
And in earlier stages, they were a lot more integrated along with those cracks and crevices correctly.
All right.
There you go. Thanks. All right, there it is. The Monk's Dorm.
That makes me think of Skeleton Knights.
Stop motion ones?
No, ones who stab you in the back when you're around a corner.
That kind. I'm also familiar with that kind. Yes. There we go.
I really like this sliding mechanic.
I do too.
When you climb Mount St. Helens around here, there's a lot of places where you can slide down like that on the way back. Feels very evocative of that.
That's cool. How long does it take to climb?
Depends. It's usually probably 8 hours start to finish, up and down, for most people.
That's a good climb.
Yeah, but it's a day trip. That's what's nice about it. That's why it's very accessible to most people.
Very slow to react.
Let's see if we can keep this up.
These ruins look really out of place in this environment. I'm trying to
They do. They're very pretty, but I was kind of having the same
moss
thought.
and stuff.
Yeah.
I wonder if they used more yellow and orange moss, if that would have incorporated them better.
It does feel like aside from the trees, the only green thing here. There's lots of ferns, but they're kind of browned ferns.
Yeah.
Results? She wants them yesterday.
Have they found anything?
Thought they uncovered some stuff, but I don't know the details.
Yeah. Sneak, sneak.
This
isn't going to work. Stealth.
The layout of this area is nice. The way you were coming down a slope, you're able to ascertain a lot about where enemies would most likely be placed, and then the way you can access so many of the upper areas from the floor where you're relatively in cover. That to me that's pretty spot on design for this type of encounter, because the whole like experience of this is find a way to kind of predator these guys one by one, right?
Right.
It's like stealth up, take out this guy, stealth up, take out this guy. Should be. I'll bet there's a word for that besides predator.
I think predator is a fantastic verb for that.
But in these kinds of encounters, it's really easy to just kind of slap enemies on, you know, a pile of ruins or whatever, and just say, all right, go wild, do whatever you want, player. But then, like, I feel like this one's pretty well thought out as far as the height of the different play areas, the platforms where the enemies are going to be, and how you access them. It looks like there's a good variety, which gives the player a chance to learn while doing, as opposed to dying over and over again in order to learn the layout.
I will try to not die over and over again, and I appreciate that.
Right.
I appreciate that you're doing the talking here. Hey, stop it. That's a grenade.
I think it's one of those things that I mean, anyone who's played the Souls games kind of gets attuned to, is the idea of like very carefully ascertaining the environment as you go.
Yeah.
Because you know all the tricks they have up their sleeves, but you also know that they're generally try to be fair about it, and they try to reward very observant behavior. And so to me, that's kind of the high watermark. Like when an environment does that, when the environment designer and artist are working so closely together that it looks great, it leads the eye correctly, and it's guiding the player, not hand-holding, but giving them enough information to make good decisions on their own.
Yeah.
Rather than brute forcing their way through it and being like, okay, now I remember a guy's going to pop out at this left area, and now I got to do this, that sort of thing. So.
Stealth.
Stealth be damned.
Kind of hairy. Someone was bound to hear all that. Come on, let's get a move on.
All right, where's my direction? I'm assuming that. All right, when we come back, I will be climbing that, and hopefully getting us up close to that very interesting looking building up there.